Okay, should be connected.
Warming up, manually resharing our links. If there's any growing fans who we don't know yet personally, they're probably tired of hearing that always as the intro.
Well, it is what it is.
Mm-mm.
Okay, I see the Facebook thing.
Yeah, but it looks like it's brighter again. No?
We're definitely brighter
Then,
today.
because I brought the light lower to try
Okay.
to get it brighter. But then it just really shows you that the background really needs a secondary support light. Because it's like super dark. Oh.
So you want to get another light?
Because this was like the nicest balance, but then it was still dark. So this one we're kind of now nicer bright, but then the background's super dark. Oh, the perils of light.
I wonder, or should we switch? Like,
To
since this
white,
one's weaker, this should be the white and that should be the warm. Para mag-increase yung warm tone.
can try,
Not today, but
can
in
try.
general.
I feel though it's the tone that's weaker. If that's white, I feel it'll be the same strong. Anyway, hello everyone. We're starting in a bit. When you don't have staff and crew, you do everything yourself.
Yeah, this is why there are like people whose job is only just to figure out light. Just cool. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. For now, this is really a hobby.
Over there, I can see the shift.
And then we're in lighter shirts for today,
Mm-mm.
which is probably a factor also.
But then comparing the harshness of before,
And then I'm still
I'm
like
happy that
generally
yeah,
happy.
I just need to get that lighting well. Okay, we'll be starting in a few more minutes. I
You
guess in
haven't
one
put it
minute.
in Baduy Pride, no? The chat.
Yeah.
Whew, very warm today.
Yeah. The humidity has been palpable. So yesterday's episode was still pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
The unboxing episode was quite an experience. And
And there's still more stuff to discover, so I'm kind of
yes.
bonkers. Well, and we haven't even like really read through the manual yet. We're gonna have to really sit down with this game and
Yeah,
have fun with
I
it.
read through it way back before the Kickstarter thing officially
Hey,
ended,
Kenny.
but I haven't gotten a chance to try it with actual games since we only opened it yesterday.
Yeah. All right, and you should still like I reread this final version of the
Mhm.
manual. Who knows what they've hidden in it beyond what we've seen?
That's true. All right,
I
let's start.
guess. Sure, we'll start. Intro in a bit.
Oh yeah! Really great!
Hello, everyone. This is Toby.
And this is Rocky.
And if it's your first time here, welcome to Baduy Pride, a little space on the internet where we talk about anything we want.
It's completely unscripted and not entirely accurate, but at least it's honest. Join us as we talk about everything and anything random live.
And if it's not your first time here, thank you so much for joining us again. It's episode 237. It's a Tuesday, and that means we're talking about food.
Because that's a thing that we do. So Yeah, today's suggested requested topic is merienda and snacks, which is requested by Andre.
Hmm.
I don't know if he can join because he tends to have work at this time, so that's a shame. But hopefully he can catch the replay.
And for any new viewers who are new to the stream, know that we incorporate your comments in the stream itself. So please do comment in. Feel free to join the conversation and share your thoughts. For those who are watching the recording and not the stream, I still hope you have fun.
Yeah, yeah, and feel still free to leave comments. I will. Regularly check and I try to reply, even if it's for older episodes. All right. So, how do you want to talk about merienda and snacks?
Well, of course, there's the definition.
Okay, of course.
Now, interestingly, I didn't go to Wikipedia for the definition this time.
Okay.
But according to the definitions.net,
Wow, you have a site?
merienda is a light meal in Southern Europe, Italy, Croatia, Latin America, and the Philippines. We're like specifically mentioned here.
Good job,
Usually
Spanish
taken
influence.
in the afternoon or for brunch, it fills in the meal gap between lunch and noon and dinner.
Lunch at noon
Yeah.
and dinner.
Or
Okay.
between breakfast and lunch. It is a
Oh,
simple meal that often consists of a piece of fruit, cookies, yogurt, and other snacks, paired with juice, hot chocolate, coffee, spirits, and other beverages. In other words, almost anything.
I know, right? It's like it's a thing and a drink.
Mhm.
Okay.
So then they break it down to different places. Argentinians have merienda or tea around 5 p.m., which tends to be an infusion with a baked snack, such as or accompanied by dulce de leche, honey, butter, or jam. North Americans, on the other hand, may relate to this light meal as a second breakfast. And then, of course, in the Philippines, the light meals would otherwise be referred to as brunch or afternoon tea. Merienda can be taken early evening just before dinner, sometimes even called merienda senya or cena. Catalonia has um, bereneta in Catalan, commonly eaten with, oh wow, cured ham and cheese. Can be sweet, fairy cakes, croissants, and small cakes, etc., etc. But ultimately, they all share that it's sort of like a middle thing between meals to carry you over between the major meals.
So it's a hobbit meal, because it's not lunch, it's not dinner, but it's like kind of mini second breakfast, pre-lunch, and all these things. Sorry, my glass is really muggy. But
Now,
yeah,
now the what specifically falls under merienda, I feel depends on the individual. Because for some, a merienda might be something like a snack, like a cookie or a bag of chips. But then for others, the merienda almost counts like a full meal. Like they'll have a plate of pancit, and I'm like, but that's already a meal. Ne, merienda lang yan.
Kenny says no mention of midnight snacks. I guess not. It's not, and I don't know.
Officially, those aren't merienda.
Yeah, that's just like indulgence.
Mhm.
No. And then Mitch is here. Hello, Mitch. It's funny. I don't. Growing up, I don't remember it. I don't remember us specifically referring to merienda.
Really?
Yeah.
Because in our household, there was always a merienda that was set out. So
Mm.
like there's lunchtime, and then kids will play and all this and that, and then at one point mom would call or yaya baby would call, oh, na merienda na, and they'll have stuff laid out on the table for us to snack on, but it isn't dinner yet. So if you don't eat your merienda within the merienda period, they take it away because it'll spoil your dinner.
That's true. Mitch says Koreans call it gansik. Okay,
Mm.
that's cool. I don't know. I mean, we would have a snack, but I don't remember us calling it merienda.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but because more often than not, like it'd be something you prepare. Like if you feel like you want to make a sandwich, then well, I'll have sandwiches in the afternoon and make your own sandwich and something. But it was sort of that. It wasn't like really like we would always have an afternoon meal.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I don't know. That's just us.
So some classic merienda examples for the Philippines would include, um, so we have,
Wow, they put rice on this list.
I'm skipping it obviously.
So we skipping the rice. Okay.
So
And then an ad. Go keep scrolling.
Yeah. So first we have ginataan.
Okay.
Ginataan is a snack which is cooked with coconut milk or gata as they call it. Some versions would use vegetables or seafoods, but for merienda, it tends to be ginataang halo-halo or bilo-bilo. Bilo-bilo to are those glutinous rice balls, which I
Mm.
love so much, and I realize now that I'm not really having that often. But
Sorry.
it's so dumb because it's literally just rice balls in coconut milk. So you feel like you're eating chewy rice,
And it
but
and
it's
it and it's
yummy.
I always felt it's better warm.
Hmm.
Like it feels better warm. Mitch
Um,
says she knows merienda because of school as recess. I know recess. That's about it.
so other than ginataan, we have ensamada, which
Mm.
is a pastry that's very generous with butter and sugar and cheese.
Oh my gosh, commercial. I saw a friend of mine on his IG stories posted ensaymada and then he torched it like with a creme brulee torch, and so it's
Okay,
super melted the cheese. And then like, oh wow, this looks evil. Okay, just aside. I don't know if you happen to have a torch lying around. Try torching your ensaymada.
we have cheese pimiento
Oh my
sandwiches.
gosh, that's a point, I guess. I
Hmm.
mean, it feels distinctly Filipino to be cheese pimiento.
Hmm. And they normally would cut it in triangles. We had a time though that when my group of so even if it was the same
Buggy
number
so
of
soon.
sandwiches, they had all these numerous smaller sandwiches to fulfill everyone else's needs.
Okay.
So there's sky flakes or pandesal with condensed
Oh,
milk.
that's
So
evil.
I never was a condensed milk type of merienda person. We didn't really have this in the family. We'd have sky flakes, but our sky flakes would be with liver spread or with
Mm.
cheese whiz.
Okay.
Then we'd have condensed milk, but that's also because it's for
Baking stuff
champurrado
and yeah,
or
yeah.
stuff. We never really had it as the
Yeah, I don't think we did a lot of that too. But then I'm sure grandma like tried a few things. Mitch chimes in with turon with a lot of sugar.
mm,
And then Kenny likes the ensaymada idea.
yeah. I'm actually expecting Toron and the like to come out in the list, but
Mitch also says ensaymada specifically by French baker, which is a funny statement. But oven toast, French baker, ensaymada.
mhm.
Okay. Well, okay. This list is funny. We can skip a few, but
So the
okay.
list includes chicken mami, so instant noodles basically.
That's I guess that's kind of fair.
It has taho, which I'm not sure why taho is listed as a merienda since I think a lot of us associate it more as
Early morning
the
breakfast.
pre-breakfast meal.
Yeah, because I mean, maybe if you're lucky and like you have taho vendors walking in the afternoon, but I
Yeah.
think more often than not, most of us grew up with the taho vendor first thing in the morning, and you have to catch it. You have to catch the guy.
Then we have the classic three, which is banana Q, turon, and maruya.
Which of the three did you like the most?
I was a banana Q guy
Really?
because I didn't like turon. I didn't trust it because I always thought it
Lumpia.
was lumpia in disguise, and I never liked turon. Well, it was only later on I realized turon had banana also inside. So I was like, okay, so it's just a wrapped banana Q.
Yes.
And then maruya, I never really got into until much later.
I don't think I've had Maria a lot. Probably like occasional training seminar
Mhm.
type venues. And then I generally like Turon more than Banana Q. But I think just because I think Banana Q the chunks of sugar is fun
Mhm.
but messy. And then I think I just couldn't handle that much banana. And for some reason it tasted better to me in Turon.
Mm.
I don't know why. I don't know why. Okay. Kenny says skyflakes and canned tuna, but that's more like pulutan. Yes, I would
Yeah, I
say
was
that.
wondering about that intersection between pulutan and merienda.
It depends on how early you drink.
I feel pulutan is only the term if it's you're a
With
certain age.
alcohol.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean like I'm guilty of like I've had lazy afternoons where I have crushed a small pack of skyflakes into a can of tuna in a bowl
Mhm.
with a little rosemary for fanciness, and then like yes. And then Mitch, Toby and his trust issues with food. Okay.
Then there's ice drops or ice buko.
Oh, okay, that's true.
You're making your own ice candy.
And then I would feel like the Magnolia Delights vendors
Mm,
would be roving more in the afternoon,
yes.
and you could, or later on when they all became Nestle, it was that
I I've always been puzzled by that because so we all kind of have gotten used to taho in the morning and then the ice cream in that merienda are.
okay,
But you know that those guys are roving around the
all
entire
day.
day.
Yeah, yeah.
So why do you
Why do we think they all come in the
at
morning
that?
and all come in the afternoon? It's a mystery. It's like, when does the Yakult vendor come?
Yeah,
It's like super random. Like
that's true.
that's one, like, it doesn't have a fixed time. But then again, all day they're walking around.
Okay, then you have the fishball family of merienda, and I say family because you have fish balls, you have squid balls, you have kwek kwek, you have cheese sticks,
Kikiam,
you have
chicken
kikiam.
ball,
Mm.
squid ball,
But ultimately, they are all
Balls.
flowery balls with added flavor.
This article stresses that they're not keto by saying they're flowery balls. But I never really had this as a typical merienda,
Mhm.
only because unless you get them at school, but
Mhm.
parang at home, or like during the summer,
Yeah, yeah,
there were
that's
I
true.
don't think we had roving fishball vendors in the area. They
That's
always
true.
parked at the church,
And and it
UP.
was harder to prepare at home because you don't have the sauce. I
Yes,
know my mom tried to recreate the sauce a few times, and it wasn't bad, but you still know it wasn't the
it
same.
wasn't the same. Apparently, we need the spit, or you need the, I don't know, fermentation of the fact that that sauce jar is never fully empty, and they probably add in more, and then it like just keeps reconstituting. It's wonder sauce, guys. That's why there's vinegar to kill the germs. And then, uh, uh, for us, oh my god, early on it was a lot of like, if we buy anything like that, we'd have to go home and refry it.
Mm-hmm.
Grandma was like that. It was like, we gotta be safe. We're gonna fry it again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, okay. Then it never tastes. Then it gets super crunchy and like, oh, this is not as fun. So it was so daring when our dad brought us. Like, we go to UP and then like, let's have
Mm-hmm.
fish balls. And like, we're gonna eat it here. And like, oh my gosh.
Hello to keyboard Fluttershy. I'm
Oh,
not sure who
hello.
you are.
Yeah, welcome,
but do
welcome.
join the conversation and share your comments.
Oh, Kenny says it's always a Miss Yakult vendor and not Sir in my experience. That's true.
Mm.
Yakult was like
Yeah,
predominantly sold by women.
And they had that uniform.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They had that parang apron and
And then their little cart, the little trolley, didn't even seem refrigerated. I mean, I don't know. It never
It
looked
had ice
refrigerated.
inside.
It had dry ice, I'm
Yeah.
sure. But then like, you don't associate it as being cold, right? Okay.
now in terms of other merienda that was not mentioned, what do you recall or what do you think of?
Temperado.
Temporado, yes, definitely. I would have um parang luncheon meat sandwiches.
Ooh, well, I think sandwiches in general
Yeah.
were like a classic thing.
But
That
it was like luncheon meat or the ham and cheese sandwiches.
I had a lot of, so it's a lot of do it yourself. So it's a lot of cheesy. My peanut butter sandwiches, my peanut butter jelly sandwiches, my butter and sugar sandwiches.
Mm.
Oh my god, my butter and sugar. And I did not take the time to cut.
Mhm.
I was a half sandwicher.
Mhm.
So I would take a single
Fold-
piece of
fold the
bread
bread.
and just fold it. Okay. And then hot dog sandwiches, Vienna
Hot
sausage
dogs, yes,
sandwiches.
hot dogs was always a merienda thing.
And it was sad because hot dog, but it wasn't like in a hot dog.
Mhm.
It was, you have someone cut the hot dog in half. I couldn't do
Yes.
it myself. And then I would lay it alternating so that it would fill the bread.
I would pay chicken feet.
Ooh, Mitch says kropek and or popcorn.
Mm.
Okay, okay. And
Sounds
then
good.
Kenny has the karinderya pancit and sweet spaghetti.
I don't get pancet or spaghetti as merienda. That's too heavy.
But if you only get it in that little bag amount, it's not that much.
But they still sell. They don't sell merienda size. They sell a meal size.
It depends on how much money you have. But admittedly, I associate this more with early morning. Like
Mhm.
the when I was living in Pasay, when I started working and living on my own, um, the there was a house across the street, and they would sell that. It was either, so it was a choose any of the three. There's arroz caldo,
Mm.
and then there's the spaghetti, the pancit, the sopas,
Mm-mm.
and it could just like rotate. It's never all of them. It's 2 to 3 of them.
So keyboard Fluttershy adds legit half sandwich supremacy. Always been too lazy to cut bread.
Yes, yes.
And it's fun to do that when you have like different, so like let's say peanut butter on one side, jelly on the other, or chocolate spread and peanut
You
butter,
still do that.
or peanut
You
butter.
literally did this today. This is Toby. I don't know. I don't know.
But the most I had was four stuff.
In
Yeah.
quadrants?
So I like had four. So it's horizontal, horizontal, vertical. Sorry, reference of camera. Vertical, vertical, horizontal, horizontal. So when you fold it, it's a mix of one of each combination.
Okay, good job. I'm happy for you. Blessed be. Blessed be. Okay. Um what else? And then I was thinking of something.
So there's fruit. My family was a big fruit as Merienda family. So we'd have
Okay.
sliced lemons. We'd have
Wait,
mango
sliced
halves,
lemons.
melons,
Okay,
melons.
melons. It's like,
Mango
ooh.
halves. We'd have watermelons and triangles.
Oh, we'd have mango only for the summer
Mhm.
because then there would be mangoes from the family farm and then a few bushels. What do you want to call
Mhm.
it? Whatever would arrive. Ha! Mitch is like pizza for
Pizza
merienda.
again. That's so much. How can you like get pizza for merienda?
What
And
if
then
it's a school cafeteria personal pizza?
okay, but
The less than 20 pesos and it's like the size of
pwede
your
pa,
hand. It's like
pwede pa.
that was like
What was the name of that
I
one
don't
single
know.
brand that was
3M.
in? Yes,
3M was
3M.
everywhere.
3M. Which I wonder if they ever had a legal battle with, the sticky notes.
Probably not. I don't think there's any confusing the two products. So there would only be
But
like a
but we don't see 3M now. So maybe they did have a legal battle.
or they just did make it. I mean, it's like those like Bambi taco shells and whatnot. I don't know. Okay,
But yeah,
um,
3M was love.
and then wait, and a lot of this like merienda. I think we're still talking about merienda at home,
Mhm.
right? And then like because in school nga, there would be
The
there
stars,
would
the
be the
stalls.
recess, the break, whatever. Then your merienda profile like totally changes and
Mhm.
what you can get. Um, and I mean, but I always had sandwiches kasi like
Mhm.
I had packed lunches for a very long time throughout grade school. So I had packed lunches and then my allowance was like 20 pesos. It
Mhm.
was like I got nothing. Which was 20 was still big. But it was like I could only decide like am I getting the personal pizza today? That's it. Am I getting a slush puppy? These things. Um
Yes.
yeah, so can you think of school food that you associate with merienda?
The um, kamote Q.
Oh, okay.
They'd normally have those kamote, the round slices on a barbecue stick.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they look like a banner of some sort. Because it's not
A
because
banner.
they didn't like do it fishball style like that. They'd have it flat and then like that. So when you hold it up, it's like three circles.
Yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah.
it will be like the caramelized sugar, right?
Which looks like
From
a
the
snack you'd get in like any
Mhm.
Japanese video game.
and then
Something like
and then
that.
of course you have all those different French fry variations with the powder
The the
flavors.
the powder French fry stuff was fancy. I
Mhm.
mean, like, and then that would be like, ooh, that's a significant investment of allowance to
Yeah,
get that.
but in school that was like, so me and my classmates would all buy a certain powder flavor, and then we like mix and match
Of course, you're gonna
afterwards.
mix them up. You keep mixing things.
We're smart that way.
Okay,
We're
I'm just a bit of
Bosconians.
a purist. What was your go-to? Despite the mixing, which was your go-to flavor for powdered
Fries.
fries? Yeah.
I was more, if it wasn't cheese, it was sour cream
Mm.
for me.
I mean, in the beginning, I just get a lot of. I typically
I
get the
wasn't I
cheese.
wasn't happy with barbecue.
Yeah, the barbecue always felt weird, and
Barbecue
then
always felt odd.
when you discover sour cream, it's like, oh my god, this is awesome! Sour cream, yay! Okay, Mitch says in high school we have a co-op in Este. No more na ngayon. We order mojos or fish balls or
Oh
corn with
wow!
cheese or lugaw.
Ah
Okay,
yes, the corn with
the corn with
cheese. The
cheese.
cup with corn, and then there's the cheese powder on top.
Corn in a
Oh
cup
hi, Lizard.
was like the superior way to eat corn. As
Mm.
much as like you could get a corn on a cob and I don't know, try to rub salt and butter and whatnot.
No, no, we
But
have that too.
I mean, it's too. But corn in a cup was just so convenient,
So
and you don't get it on your
in Don Bosco
uniform.
Makati, it was corn in cup in the cafeteria. But if you went to the basketball court
Okay,
and you made kulit manong, you can get the corn in the cup.
who's technically outside the school?
Yeah.
The manong just not quite
No,
inside.
well, but you have to realize it's basketball court, then you have the parking lot, and then you have the fenced area and the cellars.
Mm.
So you have to make manong driver to be the relay person for you.
Manong
Yeah,
driver.
so like the drivers are all there, and then sometimes you'll have to buy them pa coke para naman. It was an economy. It was an interesting economy at that age.
Ha! Keyboard Fluttershy says, all my childhood cheese fries were just so good. Tapos growing up is realizing sour cream is better. That
Yes,
is true.
and there was that guilt of your fingers being laden with the powder.
And then,
Yeah,
and I'd literally run my teeth again because it really sticks.
me, I'd buy chips. Because
And then,
then my fingers with the powder and the chips.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
And then I think another thing of interest was, crap. I keep thinking of things and then I lose it.
Dirty ice cream.
Okay, that's fair. That's
Mhm.
fair.
Again, school, dirty ice cream would always be there.
Forever. Oh, and then I was gonna say the joy of soft drinks in a bag. I
Mm.
think it starts in school that I first experienced soft drinks in a
Because
bag.
prior to that, it was soft drinks, but the bottle you had to return.
Yeah,
Like
if it's if
deposit.
it's like the sari sari store nearby,
Yeah.
then you might bring it home
And then
then you bring bottles to the sari sari store, and
and
it
then
was
they started
typically
shifting to the bag para you
yeah,
can take it with you.
and then and it was typically the now lost like glass Coke 1 liter
Mm-hmm.
bottle.
Mm-mm.
That was like the optimal size to bring back that your parents would trust you to bring back and
Yeah.
forth because now everything it's the 1.5 PET bottle that kind of reigns supreme.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
true.
okay. Sorry. Randomly going back to home life though, uh, their grandma would have projects in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes she'd bake cookies, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Then you could enjoy some of the batter. Well, typically I could lick the mixer, the
Mm-hmm.
mixer thing
Yeah.
after. She'd make fries, but when she makes fries, it's super like she fries them. She has to set them out on paper. She has to chill them
Mm-hmm.
and then fry them again. So it was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, we just want to eat the fries. And then the other random thing was she'd make sushi.
Oh wow.
She would roll sushi, but she would only really predominantly it's cucumber.
Mm-mm.
It's because it's the one that she mostly has. She may have bought tuna, and then we'll have tekamaki also.
Mm.
But then predominantly it's just cucumber sushi, and then we could all snack on sushi for
Mm.
the afternoon.
Kame, we had the vegetable sticks.
Mm.
So that's carrots, cucumber. Oh
Celery.
no, we weren't the celery family.
Mm.
I think we all felt it tasted like salt. Singkamas.
Singkamas.
Singkamas,
Yes.
carrots, cucumber. And then we'd have ano pa. You have your choice of mayonnaise, sour cream, and
Ooh,
and
fancy.
salt. So
That's
yeah.
fancy. Would your family cheese dip make an appearance, or is that only for parties?
That was a natural cheese dip.
That was a nacho
Yeah.
cheese. Okay.
So for
Okay.
the vegetables, it was more sour cream or
Oh,
it was the white sauces.
and
Basically.
I remember because we used to buy a lot of stuff at PX good stores before, which is to now when people say SNR, but parang it's the same family.
Dawa kasi supermarket has the PX goods na rin.
Yeah, yeah.
So
But
they don't
before
really stand out anymore.
before it was super specialty, and then
Mhm.
I remember my grandma would, she would get mini boxes of cereal. So
Okay.
she'd always get the sampler box of
Okay.
cereal. So I would sometimes have cereal from Merienda. There was the sampler box of chips.
Thousand
Which-
Island, yes, Mitch. Yun yung isang minsan kasama sa
Thousand
vegetable.
Island or ketchup and mayo.
It's the same thing as far as the Merienda's concerned.
Okay, and then we would have the mini pack of chips. So
Mhm.
it could be like small packs of Lay's, Doritos, Fritos,
Mhm.
which is like, oh, it's like sad chippy. Not enough MSG. And then my favorite though, either these cookies or these brownies
Mhm.
that would come in this really big tray, like a store tray, and they're all individually packed in plastic. So you know that they're super preservative
Mhm.
because they're built for shipping, but they were so good.
Mom never let us have merienda still in their containers.
Oh, okay.
So, like, if we were gonna have chips, she'd have bowls, and then they're all poured out. If we're gonna have
Mm.
pretzels or cookies, they'd be on plates, and because it allowed you to pace yourself with it. You never felt like you had to finish it.
Okay, okay. We just had because we had a lot of, I guess we had a lot of solo afternoons,
Mhm.
and then like I'd be reading, or mostly reading, but a lot of reading, and then I could have snacks while reading. So, and then we would be in our respective like corners of the
Mm.
house, but not always interacting. So I don't know. We were, I guess, we were a bunch of introverts in that way. That's how. And then we didn't have help, so it was really get for yourself, clean up after yourself, and then that was it. And
Mhm.
that was your snack life. And then now, I just bring I think it was when I was working in the call center that I would still pace myself that every 2 hours I should have something.
Mm.
There's that weird training of 3 meals a day, and then you have space for snacks in between.
Mhm.
Then you kind of run that every 2 hours something has to happen, even if it's just a bag of chips or whatever. Um, early call center, because now there's so many things that are 24 hours. People working night shift are super lucky, but then in the early days, like the only thing we could go to was the 24-hour convenience store.
7-Eleven or the
Worse, it was like
Mercury.
it was the one attached to the Shell station,
Mm.
so everything was super expensive.
Mm-mm.
It was more expensive than 7-Eleven. And then like you just be sad and like, okay, I
Kung
have
ano na lang meron.
this really sad chopaw and all
Yeah.
these things. I mean, and I know it's like a weird midnight, but it's a kind of the same snack mentality because my day was flipped around. Like my day would start at 9, 10
Mhm.
p.m. Then merienda is like at 3 in the morning, um, and then instant noodles did feel a little like too much.
Mhm.
Although there were days I would, but then like I'd rather save it for lunch or
A
something.
workplace merienda that I got fond of before when we were working in Makati
Mm.
was siomai.
Oh, okay,
Because
yeah.
they felt small enough to be savory but not too heavy.
But shawmai is so versatile because the moment you add rice, it's a meal. School cafeteria shawmai rice. Oh my god.
Mm-mm.
Oh, and then segue to sudden memory because in school mini donuts again.
Yes, those mini
School
donuts.
mini donut. I know we talked about it during the donut episode, but then oh my god, mini donuts, mini donuts.
Siopaw for me was too heavy.
I didn't mind. I didn't mind.
Mitch mentioned siopaw.
Yeah, yeah, because like the convenience store shop out was like a regular
Mm.
friend for me in my work life.
But it
Um,
just always felt heavy for me, I guess.
and then when there were more stores, then like ooh more diversity. But then admittedly, a lot of the deep fried like hot pockety things at places like Mini Stop were too
Mhm.
much for me. The like, kariman, and then like
Mm.
it'll have like a
Yeah,
protein inside a super thick batter.
yeah.
Um, that never felt fun to me. Like it was just umay. It was an umay snap, and it was too much. Um, Mitch 7-Eleven shop out. Yeah, yeah. And you're and it when you encounter the problem of 7-Eleven of whoop, there's the sign on it that's saying food is still cooking, so you have to
Mm.
wait. That and managing the hot dogs
Yeah.
and like hoping you have enough buns left or decent buns when you get the hot dogs and trying to figure out the freaking trays for is that really the chicken hot dog or the chicken hot dog with cheese because parang they're in the same tray
And
and
then
the
it's hard to
distance was
tell pa
not
which
the
ones are cooked sometimes.
yes, yes.
I always had, again, food trust issues when it comes to the hot dogs of 7
But
Eleven.
I miss like before the menu like there were certain 7-Eleven experiences I loved as snacks. Like we would go out in the afternoon and then like grab, explore 7-Eleven. And before they used to have footlongs. You
Mm.
remember when 7-Eleven had footlongs?
Yeah.
And it was with the footlong that you could get this before it was the main one that you could get the special Manhattan dressing,
Mm.
which was the mayo mustard pickle relish mix.
Yeah. That was
Um,
nice.
and but I super enjoyed those footlong hot dogs. And when they stopped selling them, like, oh, okay, now it's all standard hot dog. So sad.
And then I miss how Burger Machine was much more,
Prevalent.
yes.
Mm,
And,
mm.
their lunch and meat sandwich, their, what was their dessert thing?
Sans
The
Rival.
Sans Rival was pretty good.
Oh, I love in my school days we had a burger machine in the cafeteria. And then that was around the time they debuted Bumper Pum, the Bulilit burger.
Mm.
And the Bulilit burger was in G because
Was it like 5 pesos
it started
each?
at 5
Yes.
pesos per bulilit burger, which was more sulit to get 6 bulilit burgers then a 30 peso jumbo burger.
Yes, yes, I used to do that.
And the bulilit burger was the debut of the barbecue sauce.
Mm-mm.
And it was like, oh my god, that thing had like a nice amount of heat. And
Mm-mm.
there was nothing else. There was no mayo,
No
mustard. I mean, it
cheese,
was
nothing.
just a squash of that
But that
barbecue
was good.
sauce. I love those bulilit. And then that was the problem in school. So come recess, there would be this horde of a queue at Burger Machine, and then it would run out. They would run out of Bulilit Burger, so it was super like 20 pesos, and then you buy it like no, you just quote how much you're paying. You're not even saying it anymore how much. Just give me 20 pesos worth of Bulilit Burger, 30 pesos, 50. I just want Bulilit Burger. So yeah, and they never set a limit to how many you could buy, so it was just crazy. Mid shares pandesal with variety of palaman and Reno liver spread.
Yes.
Pandesal in the afternoon for me always felt slightly sadder only because it was the morning pandesal that got reheated.
Mm.
Like because that's when we got it fresh for breakfast. And then come afternoon, toast it na lang. It's still good, but alam mo yun, once you toast pandesal again, parang not quite the
But
same.
I like the when pandesal gets dry enough na when you like push, you break a hole. Kasi parang nagka crust na
And
siya.
then what do you stuff into the hole?
Yeah.
What do you put in the hole?
Cheese. I'll cut the cheese and then I'll push it inside. And then,
Oh, and then I mean like we had the cheese episode, but then we did grow up a lot with like just having sliced chevital
mm,
or cheese. If there were cheese slices, that's cool, but you save the cheese slices for sandwiches kasi sayang. But you could slice cheese for yourselves, and then I would have pandesal on the side. And I wouldn't even put the cheese in the pandesal. It was literally back and
mhm.
forth. Or like, or I could do it with loaf bread. That, or sorry, or conversationally Pullman, you know, even though the brand wasn't always Pullman. But I would literally take a bite of cheese and then like a line of bread and then cheese and then bread. And I don't know why. That's like that was the thing we would do. I would alter a snack that way.
And then one of the, I guess when we were feeling fancy, or I guess when mom had more time, we'd have palitaw, as
Oh,
in
she'd
home
make?
cooked.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And it was
I've
always
only had palitaw as like a pasalubong snack. Like
mm,
it come and brought palitaw. Alam mo yun?
and it was always fascinating to watch because they'll prepare it, you have the balls, then you flatten it up, and then you cook it, and then once it's cooked, they float up, and hence the name palitaw.
Yeah.
And then once they're floating, that's when you fish it out, and then you put the sesame seeds and the sugar. Yeah. So it was nice. It was a
Oh,
nice.
nice. Oh, Mitch also sorry mentioned Reno liver spread with respect to pandesal. Yeah, the legendary powers of Reno. Although we had the Red Devil one,
Mm.
so PX goods, man, PX goods. This liver spread must taste better because it probably costs 3 times as much. So, okay, Grandma, thanks. Yeah, a lot of my childhood is associated with living in my grandma's house, and her pantry defined our snacking habits. Oh, stupid aside, I love the tiny the mini cereal boxes
Mm.
because technically it had perforations, and then you could cut open a window,
Mm-mm.
and then the bag also you could cut it. There were pre perforation, so you could just make a window,
So
and
it's
then
parang a bowl na.
yeah, and then you put your milk in, and then you're eating out of the
Mm-mm.
box, which could be a mess, but it was okay. Although I was not beyond just eating the cereal, especially Frosty Flakes as a snack.
So there were a few attempts to home make our own desserts as a um, so like we'd get Rice Krispies, we'd melt down marshmallows and peanut butter, and then we'd roll the Rice Krispies on it, so it turns into these ampao like balls that we would
Oh,
eat.
okay.
Um, we would roast up slices of luncheon meat to the point na parang kala mo nag campfire na. Yeah, stuff like that. We were very active in doing stuff like that because we liked experimenting with stuff.
I can't remember. My sister and I, because we weren't allowed to use the stove.
Hmm.
Okay, but we could use eventually the microwave. And then I don't know how we came up with this idea, and I forgot what we called it, like a combo or something. But then we'd scramble eggs
Hmm.
and have like sliced up hot dogs,
Hmm.
and cheese, and then we'd microwave it. And then it could become super poofy because, of course, eggs in the microwave like inflate, and then it could just come down, and then you would have this weird egg cake
Hmm.
with the egg partly pink now because of the hot dog, and then we'd smear ketchup all over. this is this is a thing we would share, and it
Hmm.
was just so crazy that um, we mastered like microwave experiments. So there was that learning how to cook egg, and then I could microwave hot dog because we of course we got the hot dog microwave tray. Did you have one of those?
No.
It was a specific. It was literally there was a channel for each hot dog, a little spike on the end so that you could spear it. Because the hot dog shrivels, so it could try to hold on. Um, and then it had like a translucent case, and then you would microwave the whole thing, and then
Mm.
the hot dogs would be not great, because if you do it too much, the ends become hard, the middle is raw. Because just a weird, very weird thing. But yay, microwave hot dogs. That and I would make instant noodles using a microwave because I would heat the water with the noodles in the microwave, but I put it on for like 5 minutes.
And I presume a different container because my foil yung.
I know, yeah, we'd have to put everything in a bowl, and then so more like the Lucky Me packets, and then um, I would do instant noodles that way. I was like super microwave kid. This is funny.
One of the um, most prominent ones, which all three of us kids got into making for merienda, was the pandesal pizza.
Mm,
So
mm.
we'd lay out bread, we'd create the tomato sauce, and then we'd um, slather it on each piece of bread, and then with grate cheese, we'd cut hot dogs. If we were feeling fancy, then we'd add a bit more stuff to that. But usually it's hot dogs, cheese, and just the tomato sauce. Then with um, it's an oven toaster.
Yeah, yeah,
So we'd wait, and then we'll pull out the next batch, and then
yeah, 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 yeah.
so while we're cooking the next batch, we're eating the first batch. And, yeah, that was fun.
My dad would do something similar for me growing up, but then he'd prepare it as merienda,
Mm.
as recess snack. He'd make a pizza sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
So it was literally that methodology, but then smacked together.
Mm.
And I mean, it wouldn't be warm and toasty in school, but it was still such a nice flavor
And it's
combination.
nice how the cheese
Yeah,
really
it holds
gets
it, and it holds it
yeah,
all together.
it gets that nice
Even
that
if
nice
though it
bread.
was just hot dogs, tomato sauce, and cheese on bread.
Okay,
Did you ever have like those Wonder Loaves, the super bread that was like rainbow colored?
I think I did, but I don't really remember.
We never got that. We only got regular bread. So I was always curious, like, why is the bread colorful?
I do remember colorful bread as part of the stuff I was snacking on, but I'm not sure if it was specifically the Wonder Loaf
Mm-mm.
or if we were just getting different kinds of bread from the paninderia.
Okay.
Because we so back when we used to visit Lola in Pasay, there was a bakery that we always went to, and I would go crazy getting panderegla, coconut bread, Spanish bread, the croissant-like looking bread. My favorite were um, these breads that had a crust-like shell, and they had a sprinkling of sugar. So they were like ensaimada, but not.
Okay.
And I know I always love those.
Mitch says the pizza sandwich could be like a calzone. Actually,
Mm.
it's essentially the same principle. And then cake for merienda. Cake for merienda only happened if a birthday was recent. And
Yeah,
then there's cake in the
that's
fridge,
true.
and we're now working on the cake.
Oh, macaroni salad.
Okay, you have all these complaints about pancit and the like, and then you bring up macaroni salad.
Because it's
That's heavy.
no, it's not.
It's
It's
noodles.
refreshing.
It's only refreshing until you encounter the raisin. They're like, ah! Or the secret pineapple that was like pineapple tidbits
Yeah,
slathered
macaroni
in mayo.
salad
It's hard
was a
to.
merienda.
That's a heavy
Classic.
merienda. I mean, I accept this as a merienda, but I'm just saying that for
And then it
someone
has tuna pa.
who is, oh, may protein pa. Ang bigat niyan. Someone who is opposed to spaghetti and pancit as
Yeah. The
merienda.
spaghetti, you have a plate full. Macaroni salad, you just have a small bowl.
I feel it's the same. You're in the same neighborhood of
Mm.
stuff.
Barbecue and the like.
Mixes empanadas for merienda. Ooh, our main empanada. I think I mentioned this before. Was like the red ribbon chicken
Mm.
empanadas. Like when we would get those, oh my god, that would go crazy. But realistically, it never made it to merienda. It was more likely dinner because like someone who went to work would have some home and bring it.
Mhm.
Yeah. So there was that the but I appreciate empanadas. I can't now, but I appreciate empanadas. And I felt sad over time how the red ribbon one would get smaller and smaller
Mm.
and then disappeared.
Capitalism. So,
Harsh capitalism.
as time passed and as we got older, of course, a lot of the merienda options shifted now to what's available in fast food.
Yes.
Or if you're lucky, let's say pre-pandemic, you were working in Makati, then you have the Jolly Jeeps, which pretty much were like lutong bahay on the street corner because you had things literally cooked there on the spot, and those were fun.
And then like for us, like we would maintain snacks at the office. So there
Mhm.
would be normally an assortment of chips, cookies and whatnot. And then it's funny because when I do the weekly grocery and like I'll queue in the order, then I'll have all these requests. Then it's things suddenly like Hansel and like, oh, okay, I haven't
Mhm.
had Hansel in a long time and all these things. Mitch asked if there's no keto empanada. I mean, it's theoretically possible that you could figure out a dough for it, but then think about the happy mix in an empanada. I mean, I've had empanadas that also have potatoes in them, and like,
Mhm.
oh, none of that. So it's just a chicken meat pie. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna hold up. Okay. Um, what are other work stuff? Did you when you look at like the U.S. and you have the Googles of the world with their unlimited snack
Mhm.
pantry style things, and then like, but because like, I don't. There was always this emphasis on candy for some reason.
Mhm.
I didn't quite understand that. I didn't really think of candy as a decent snack to carry you through between
I
meals.
didn't either. I felt candy was just really more,
Energy boost.
or I don't know, to break the savory,
Mm.
salty feel when you were eating the umay. But I never saw candy as a merienda.
But then cookies can.
Yeah, I guess. Because candy is like, but it's a small wrapper you can pop in your mouth and then you suck on it for the rest of the day. And that doesn't feel like merienda to me.
That's true. That's true. Okay, then just random stuff I guess before I go is like I super appreciated, although never got to do it myself. Was there was a time Barrio Fiesta when everybody was trying to do a buffet.
Mm-hmm.
Barrio Fiesta had a merienda buffet in the afternoon,
Yeah, I
and it
remember
was
that.
all Filipino
Kakanen,
merienda,
all those kakanen.
kakanen, ginatan, and all these things. It's like oh my god, that was smart. I kept telling myself that I would try it and like go for uh, a merienda buffet, but then never
Yeah, I
never did.
never got to also.
Mitch, yes, unlimited pantry. They have power bars and a variety of canned drinks. So, see, it's like the snack concept is very different on the western side of the world versus
Mm-hmm.
like here, and it's a lot of. I notice a lot of our like classic merienda things are warm and comforting, which is funny because middle of the afternoon you'd think
Mm-hmm.
it's hot and you'd want something cool, but things like ginatan and um, even like kakanin bibingka and stuff better warm. Oh shit! What's the? Sorry, I forgot the. What's the one that's like the corn, but it's not corn, but it's um street vendor. I sound like Toby. The corn thing.
May sconielo, ganun.
No, no, no. It was a warm thing. It kind of tasted ricey with corn. I can't remember what it's called.
Ricey na corn.
Mitch says nilupao. That doesn't sound right.
Is that the shredded corn?
And it may not even be and it may not even be corn. But I know it was like a type of corn. Not that Mitch. It was binatog. Oh, is it that it? Let me look. Let me look. Oh my god,
Yes.
Aina, I think that's it. Yes, binatog. Yes. Yes, yes. It's the weird white corn thing. It
Mm-mm.
was like I don't know why. I always gravitated towards the corn that was less sweet. I like this mix with the coconut.
Mm-mm.
We could only get it from a guy on a bicycle who would pass in the afternoon. Again, Merienda people. For those who came in late, we're just wondering why do we feel that all taho vendors come in the morning and all ice cream vendors come in the afternoon?
Because we're sure that they go around for like the entirety of the day, if not the half day.
But to be fair, like if you ever watch that Batibat episode about how the taho guy starts the day, they start early in the morning from that place, and then they don't
They
necessarily.
follow a route.
Yeah, but they can't super stay out unless they do they restock in the middle of the day because there was that concept that notion that because they all get it from a central supplier and then they have to make their rounds and then like
And then
but
they have to
then
throw out the extra water.
yeah and then throughout that okay other favorite merienda snacks that people want to highlight, let us know in the comments. We'd appreciate your input. We've gone over a lot. uh, what else? And then these days, okay, these days,
Some restocked ako, according to Aina.
okay, which only makes sense. I so now it's like my keto pandesal is my merienda,
Mm.
and I missed it today. I just realized because our eating was a little off today, but because I was also determined to do the hot chocolate, and I was telling myself I'd balance off like where I'm getting my minimal carbs today.
Mhm.
But then my merienda now is like at 5 o'clock. You'll always see me heat up a keto pandesal, and then I'll have a good Queensland butter, and then that's my yummy day. Aina says sapin-sapin. And then like a lot of kakanin, I guess only because the way we sourced it, I keep thinking of it as Sunday breakfast
Mm.
because it was church.
I'm frustrated with the kakanin now that they sell in SM Aura. Because
He bought this
so
thing.
they have these trays and it's a mix of different trays.
Yes,
There's sometimes there's puto with
kuchinta.
kuchinta with sapin-sapin with ganyan ganyan. So it's this mix of varying amounts.
Mm-hmm.
But they never have one na it's just sapin-sapin and um see now I can't remember the one I like. Tikoy.
Biko. Tikoy. How can you? Tikoy is Chinese New Year. Tikoy.
There's a Filipino tikoy which is that brown one that's rolled in peanut and it has a
Oh,
stuffing.
yeah. I think I'm familiar.
So they always just have one tikoy and then it's like all these other things. And I'm like, whenever I'm there with the ate, I'm like, wala bang tikoy lang? And like, wala po. Ganyan. Wala bang sapin-sapin lang? Wala rin. Ano?
Well, it's the way they source it.
And I guess they know kasi those
Yeah.
sell, so they mix all the other stuff.
Yeah. I mean, like if we had a, syempre kasi outside of that, especially in a whatever urbanized location like BGC, do you think where can you get? I guess you have. I mean, if you really wanted, you'd have to try like
So
market
Aina
market.
mentions a good kakanin place is Dolores. So you can get good kakanin from sadness. No, pain, right? Dolores is pain.
It's
C5, Fiesta Market.
Fiesta Market, so it's
Oh.
market market. I
Yeah, so
think.
it's somewhere nearby. Oh,
Yeah,
we'll look
yeah.
into that.
You really have to go to market market.
You can get tikoy from Ang Bitin. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. And then
But then it means also that Toby has to eat it alone, so he has to get a quantity that he can manage.
Mhm.
Because I can't help him.
and then of course we cannot discount places like Goldilocks that try to sell you. These are perfect for merienda. So buy mamons, buy all this and that, and then you can serve it as merienda later. on.
Goldilocks Mamon is like I have always sad memories of like school events, CAT. It's always like, oh, and then it's the Goldilocks Mamon, which is okay, but it's super airy. It's like
I like Goldilocks. though.
it's nice, but then not filling. It's like too light. For me, it's too light to be merienda. But then you
Mm.
don't want a lot of mamon, because then it's a lot of meh. I don't know. I don't know. Is me. Um. Um. Did you? And then obviously you didn't get into a coffee for merienda thing.
No.
It's only with me that you've really started to
Yeah.
have more coffee. And then even now, like, and then I try to avoid having coffee too late. And I feel like merienda hours. Oh, when does merienda start for you? Like, what was merienda time?
It was afternoon.
Like when?
4.
4, no? Ayun nga, there's that feeling of 3 or 4.
Mm-mm.
But 3 kasi you'll get hit by the 3 o'clock habit.
Yeah.
Maybe then there's a little after.
And you're not supposed to eat when you're doing prayers. At least that's how it was growing up.
Red Ribbon has better, more varied mamon. The cheesy caramel one is good. Okay, yeah. But see, that's the funny thing. I never think of Red Ribbon mamon. I think of Goldilocks one. Isn't that strange? Isn't
I
that
think of
strange?
red ribbon cakes.
Yeah, or like the mocha slice, man. Or was that also? Oh my god, is that also Goldilocks? And then Goldilocks also had their pulverons and stuff.
And then now you have Max competing.
Oh, the Max Bakery. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like pretty serious stuff. And they got a lot of cakes and pastries and whatnot. And every time we eat at Max, they're like pushing the stuff like drugs. Like, do you wanna wanna get some pastries to take home? You want a cake now?
So Aina mentions used to have homemade churros, chocolate for merienda.
Oh
Ooh,
wow,
that's
that's
dedication.
nice. That's nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, churros is always something we had to go out for. It was never something we could make at home, or at
Mhm.
least nobody took the time to make at home. Even tablea chocolate, I think it was very rare that we ever tried to make at home. And then parang it was too much work. And then like you'd end up going back to like either microwaving Hershey's hot chocolate or late if you're fancy, Swiss Miss.
Swiss Miss. I
Swiss
remember that.
Miss. Which when you look at it now, it's like that's a lot of powder for a glass or mug. I mean, see that packet is so much
Mhm.
stuff.
But that's why it becomes a thick drink.
That's true. That's what it becomes very thick. Um, Dulcinea, yeah, Aina. That's the thing. Like when I think of churros, I think of we had to go to Dulcinea to have churros,
Mhm.
and it was only late in life that Dulcinea experimented with a churros all you can, which was another merienda buffet, which we never did, but we saw the sign. I kept thinking like, oh my god, do we want to do a churros buffet because that's gonna be an umay buffet. It's like
Then I think my last contribution to the topic. I still remember the days when um, popcorn meant kernels in a pot,
yes,
and then you had to panic because as
because
things
it
were
sounds like
popping,
war, especially if it was a glass lid.
yes, and oh man, I remember it was such a decision to go for popcorn because you would really have to commit yourself into preparing it. And then as we transitioned to those instant popcorn packages that unfolded so nicely as you had them in the microwave, those were like life changing.
Oh, there was a progression because first it was you would buy a jar of what's that Orville's whatever Orson's the popcorn brand. So you could buy your kernels a jar of kernels, but then later on there was that interim step where you could buy the thing you put directly on the frying pan. It was an aluminum foil packet,
Mm-hmm.
like a shape like a cake tin,
Mm-hmm.
a pie tin, and then you could put that on the stove. It could have a little handle, and then
Yeah,
it
yeah,
could balloon,
yeah.
which I guess you'll remember from like Scream now. Like, oh my god, if you rewatch Scream, that was the popcorn. But then
Ina,
yeah, microwave changed our
Ina
lives.
mentions making popcorn from scratch. You mean
So the pot,
from?
the kernels.
Okay, no, I thought like from the club. It scratches. So like, no offense, man. I was just thinking.
I mean, we totally believe you could do it, Ina. I'm sure that you could shuck corn, extract the kernels, and then pop that. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Um. Wow. Anything else?
Oh, that's mine.
What's your okay? Discuss lightly your merienda now, because you always have an afternoon thing. What is your merienda cycling these days?
I don't know. I think I just eat what I have there because I know I have to stop eating at 8. So I want to make sure I eat stuff now which I might want to snack on, and I just eat. Because admittedly, ever since we went into the intermittent fasting thing, despite the fact I'm no longer using the app, um, having that window of only from 2 to 8 has radically affected how I pay attention to what I'm eating.
Mm.
So I'm like, make sure I eat something before time runs out. So I don't necessarily choose anymore what I have for merienda. I just know I have to, or else I'll get hungry.
Mm. Okay, that's valid. I think I feel that way something about like my keto pandesal, like the cycle of
Mhm.
why I have it because it's the same thing. Like we're not gonna be able to eat in a few hours. Kenny's like, what do you enjoy more, savory or sweet merienda? I think I go savory. I mean, I definitely a lot of the more comforting, like happy meriendas are savory things. whether they're fries or
Yeah,
sandwiches and whatnot.
yeah. I think the closest, parang most universal savory merienda I liked was the grilled cheese sandwich.
Oh, that's effort, but I love those.
And we used to use those. I forgot what they call it, the UFO pan thing. So it
Oh,
like super burns the edges.
like a sandwich maker.
So when you open it, it's like
Yeah, my grilled cheese were normally like, well, if you could, because you couldn't use the open stove, then I could use a toaster. Then it would just be like open sandwich grilled cheese, and
mhm.
then it sort of melts. But then if you really want it to max melt, then your bread becomes construction material. So yeah. Jobo is here, and he says sweets are good for pika pika, but for merienda you have to go savory. Okay, so he's definitely savory. And then Ina shares grilled cheese with sweet pickles and mayo on top. Oh, that sounds interesting. That sounds like all you need is a hot dog to complete the set.
Yes, agree.
Ah, okay. Well, it's a little late to be talking about merienda further when we are coincidentally already in our fasting window. Um, yeah, I got anything less. Ooh, oh, and then Ina shares grilled cheese with foil in an iron. Wait, you have to talk about your iron at work
Yeah, we
story.
used to do that at work. It started in ABS-CBN when so we'd buy bread. This would be the sliced bread, and then we'd lay it on cloth, and then we'd iron it down until it becomes nicely smooth and shiny and toasty. And then we allow people to eat it with you know cream cheese, and that was pretty good. We were doing it so often that the smell of toasting bread spread throughout the floor. So the neighboring offices started to visit whenever we'd start.
Oh my
And
god.
sometimes may dala silang sariling spread and they're like, makikikain kami, ganyan. Others would bring bread. And we progressed from normal bread to dinner rolls
Oh, fancy.
because we wanted to be able to share faster.
And they were like pre-buttered, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
like there's a buttery
So when you have
addition
a
to it.
dinner roll, so that's like there's eight of those. The isang iron mo, eight people that can eat. Yeah. So yeah, so that was what we used to do.
And Java now wants a peanut butter and pickle sandwich. Oh,
I
okay.
never tried mixing pickles with stuff except for the mayo or the hot dog sandwich type. But
Mm.
I never tried pickles with this and that, despite all the other stuff I mix.
I had a weird relationship. Like in the beginning, like you and your peers, I say as kids, it's like, ooh, pickles, pick them out of your burgers
Mhm.
and all that. But then sandwich spread kind of blows your mind. Like, wait, there's pickles in this. And then we always had pickle relish. So then you just accept it. And then later on, you just do mayo and your own pickle
Mhm.
relish because you want more pickles. So
I
good stuff.
did used to obsess over the um, chocolate na margarine. And I
Mm-mm.
know it's like terrible
That's
now.
the star chocolate
Yeah, yeah,
thing.
but
Okay, I never
I was
had
so
that.
into that before because it wasn't too strong na chocolate. So I guess I liked it before.
Jobo here, it's been an internet thing for a few years ago. I've tried it and it's pretty good. I guess
I know it doesn't share that view.
yeah, so I guess it's an acquired taste.
Hmm.
Oh well, that may be a factor, Ina, if you use dill pickles instead of like sweet pickle relish, because I think it counters better. Like then it becomes sort of
Or
sweet, sour,
or
and
it's
salty.
a level that you'll have to find that works for you.
I true and then like I feel like you're better off with the pickle relish bits rather than just pickles. I mean, depending on how you
Because like I'm
like the
not a
flavor.
fan of pickles, but I like the tiny cucumber pickle
Yeah, you do.
because the crunch for me adds to the experience. But when it's like normal pickles lang, I'm like, well, it's like sad sour
Your
things.
feet are so smooth.
Why are you talking about my feet in the
Cause
merienda and
I'm
snacks episode?
hey, this snackable. No, I'm just it's just that because I just grabbed your foot now and then, oh, it's so smooth. Whereas mine now is like a this sad crunchy desert. Okay, Aina shared the jerkins and then Joe says cornichons. Okay, with all the different terms for the tiny pickles, I guess. But I think yeah that we got another quacker, so I think that's about it. We've spent an hour talking about Merienda, while meanwhile super dark outside because of
Mm.
the rain.
It's the
So my
kind of rain
gosh,
that sort of has students going, sana walang pasok, but it's pandemic. So it doesn't matter.
there's always work.
So to close, sometimes your merienda might be just cornic, and that's still a good thing. The
Mm.
family of cornic, putong pakwan, squash seeds,
These days, boy bawang.
boy bawang, and trail mix. Oh, there's a lizard. Oh, he's toying with his food.
What?
Yeah, there's a dot. It's probably a spider or a fly that he's like.
Okay.
But
Okay.
anyway, I think that's all the time we have for this merienda episode. We snacked so much that we are now hungry at this hour. But yeah, we had a lot of fun, and we hope you'll join us again next time.
For questions or suggestions for future episodes, fill out the Google form at bit.ly Baduy Pride Ideas. Thanks again to Andre for suggesting today's topic. You can follow us on Twitter, Altobi No Shade or RG Sunico.
You could also check out our blog, baduypray.com, for all the previous episodes and stuff about us.
And feel free to continue the conversation in the comments below and let us know what are your favorite snacks and meriendas, and or what new merienda creation have you discovered in your life and will want to share with the world.
Mhm.
Let us know. And be sure to subscribe for notifications, whether on Facebook or YouTube, so you don't miss our next live stream. Once again, I'm Rocky.
And I'm Toby.
And this is
Baduy
Baduy
Pride.
Pride. Good night, everyone. Stay